Neutral. One. All right, team, we're back. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the live session for all the returners from this morning and also from previous sessions, the subscribers. Okay, I'm just now looking at the chart for the first time since we walked away, so I'm just trying to get my bearings to see where we landed, where everything is. So I must have exited right around here, right around 17,700, somewhere in that area. And you can see that the trade I had marked up as a 1 to 2 did deliver. And that's assuming you were able to get in at 671. You go back to the original trade that was placed. Maybe that's 3 minutes. Yep. Here we go. Yep. So even with a 50-point stop loss, it still delivered 105 points and more. So now you can, I guess, gain some confidence into why I select 1 to 2 trade as my entry model. It just seems to work out that way. You do have to assume some risk for the trade, but whatever your risk is, you do get rewarded for it. So it generally balances out. But it's good to see that it did finally deliver. I got out before that moment. It was probably 80% through, but it looks like around 12:30 we got that final push, and it clipped what was this Thursday's high from 120, January 25th. So a couple weeks ago, actually. Okay, the all-time high, I believe, is a little bit higher than that. Here we go. I believe it's the 793 level. Let's get up to the hourly. Yep, here we go. Wednesday, January 24th, just before lunch, it hit 793, which was the lunch high for that day, but it's also the highest day that we've had so far. And let's just confirm that on the daily. Yep, absolutely. So we won't call that the lunch high anymore. We're going to call this all time. There you go. All right. Let's get back down to a respectful level. Let's drop these long tools as they are no longer valid. They have all delivered the 1 to 2 that they were designed to do. Let's see. Did anyone take this retracement during lunch? Anyone in a long right now? Oh, KB, welcome. Welcome. Good to have you here. If you have any questions, go ahead and just throw them in. Don't feel shy, and don't take your time. Just throw it in. Someone will help you out. Still waiting on 791. Yeah, I have it marked up here as a 2024 high here. But you're right, they all did get hit. I guess I got out right here during this little one candle retracement. And this is the 15-minute. Obviously, I was watching it on a lower time frame. But yeah, it was good for me. It was a good exit for me to be able to rebound from the deficit I was facing. But yeah, it definitely looks like price is pushing higher. It's going to want to sweep these highs and even get to that all-time high there. Let's see. Do we have any other new subscribers other than KB? Any other new subscribers? Either this morning session was your first or this afternoon session is your first. All right, Fauci. Welcome back, Vivian. Good to have you. All right, Kendrick. Crypto still in along, still holding from crypto. If I'm not mistaken, you got in here, right? Somewhere around 550-ish in this area. Because I took this retracement down to the midnight open, but I think you got you actually got the breaker. That's the one I wish I got. All right, D. Anderson. Awesome, man. That means you must have made some money. 660. Yeah. Let's go ahead and mark this up and see what happened. 38% of that area. Okay. You wanted 660. Let's go to a smaller one. Yeah. Almost. I think it returned to this. This was as far as it needed to go. Created a high here, retraced back down. This was the entry that we looked at earlier that I ended up taking, but it was into discount. Then you had to push out of here, and you never had to return back to this level. It just kept running and kept running, and then it finally came back down and crossed over to retest the level that it had passed before. The fact that we're getting a bullish push out, it's looking good so far. We're going to see if we can still get bullish momentum to sweep these equal highs. But since they are equal highs, I do have a decent amount of confidence that we're going to go and sweep these today. Let's see, 5-minute inversion fair value gap. Oh, here. Yep. Lunch hour has good moves because they know fewer traders are available at that time, probably is my guess. TC, yes. So with Dixie, you want to see Dixie moving away from the indices. It's important that the indices are moving in tandem because when they are and moving away from Dixie, that's when you get the low resistance liquidity run. That's when you get, for instance, you'll get consecutive candles all moving in the same direction towards a target, and it'll get there pretty quickly with speed. You can cover 100 points, and whenever you look and you see a move that was 100 points and it only took 10, 15 minutes, those are the kind of moves that we're talking about. When you get moves like this, where even though it was making higher prices, it was back and forth, every candle, long wicks, back and forth, back and forth. That's generally when the indices are not fully aligned. And so you wait for them to get aligned. And you also wait for the dollar to move the other direction. Oftentimes when they're not aligned, it's one of them waiting to hit some key level. So start looking at one of the indices that maybe there's a SMT going on, or maybe the dollar is really close to a higher time frame target. And when it finds that PD array on a higher time frame, then you'll get the reversal on the dollar, which will then propel the indices to continue moving in the direction they're going. So I usually pay attention to those going back and forth, just trying to make sure they align. And you don't always get it. Like even this morning, when I was in the long and things were working out, all indices and the dollar were all moving in the same direction, which is not typical when you get that kind of movement. It was a little slow at first, but it started moving fairly quickly and it just kept going. So it's not 100% of the time that when they're in tandem that you get exactly what you want. But by and large, that's the kind of market structure you want to see. So hope that helps, TC. All right. Okay, crypto. So you got in at 571. Holy cow. You're up 150 points, not ticks, points. That's 600 ticks on one trade. Actually, more than that. It's probably closer to 650 ticks right now. Yep, you're right, crypto. You're absolutely right about that. You'll be on side more times than not. Darius Mitchell, I do not have a bias on gold. I don't trade gold. I only trade indices, Nasdaq and S&P. And most of the time is at least the last 6 months or so, it's just been Nasdaq really. So no, I don't trade gold. If you hang around to the end of the session, I'll take a look at gold for you. But otherwise, I'm not going to review that. Yep. So you have TC. Um, this morning, this is what I showed when we looked at the Dixie. You get to the daily. Right, we have these equal highs over here, and that's at 104,273. And then you have the next level just a little higher, equal highs as well at 537. So just waiting to see what happens when it gets to one of those levels. And we can see dollar still is at its peak. It's running. I expected the dollar to do well today because this morning there was good news related to employment numbers. Right, we'll go back to that. This is what we had this morning. Today, 8:30, we had average hourly earnings, NFP, or non-farm employment change, as well as unemployment rate, all of them beating their forecast. And so I expected the dollar to be strong. And since I had those those equal highs marked above where the dollar was currently traded, I was looking for bullish activity from the dollar. I thought maybe it would run earlier this morning, though, and reach that level. So we would see a retracement this afternoon, but right, can't force it to happen at a certain time, but I did expect the dollar to buy up today because of the way the news was announced. It, S&P here. Okay, get back down to the 5-minute here. Yeah, 4 hours had two pools of liquidity pulled already. The first one was at 7:35. The second one was 7:51. Naturally, the last one is at 7:92. Yep. Go ahead and pull this off the chart. Just clean us up a little bit. This session runs until 4 o'clock. So if you're looking for gold, I think you may have found the wrong channel. I mean, you're welcome to stay. It's just, yeah, if you're looking for when am I going to speak about gold, and if that's what you mainly trade, then I think there may be some other traders that are better suited for you. Hmm. Yeah, Dustin. Usually, you need to if you want to hold all day and catch like a full range like that, you're gonna have to. It depending on the day. The low is either going to be during the London session. So you're going to see like 3 o'clock ish, somewhere around that time. And these are for days for longs. Or if that doesn't happen, then it's going to be either 8:30 or 9:30 is typically what you're going to have. Yep, Nasdaq 100 is the same as US 100. So right now you see Nasdaq 100, and this is futures trading. You'll see US 100 on other brokers as CFDs. It's similar, but not the same. It just depends on which one is available to you from your broker, as well as which one's available to you in your country. Not all countries are able to trade futures. You need me live in the Discord? Okay. What would you like in me to do live in the Discord? Oh, okay, Darius. All right, no worries. But yeah, we can definitely at the end of the session take a look at gold, and you know, or if you have questions right now, go ahead and get them ready. So when we get to gold, we can just start addressing your questions immediately. D. Anderson, good afternoon, man. Okay. Yeah, maybe we should do a weekend session where we look at the market from the previous week, and then we go into looking at what we could potentially look for the coming week. Maybe that's a good session to do. All right, log back in. No, not yet, not yet. We almost there though. We're almost there. Remember, I mentioned I was down 1,800 for the week, so that really only got me. I'm at plus 400 or 500 for the week now, I think. So yeah, that was a monster trade. But what was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, I had losing trades both days. I think I lost 1,000 on Tuesday and 800 on Wednesday, or vice versa. One of the that. And then yesterday I didn't trade, so my week is right now plus 400 or 500. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to call someone a guy if it's a girl. Sorry about that. My max loss. Oh, my max loss or the max loss. um, I generally have uh, around anywhere from $350 to $500 stop loss, somewhere in there. And it just depends. I try to go in with one contract, but I have recently been going in with two contracts sometimes. Or if I can get it lower, where it's maybe a $250 to $300 stop loss, maybe I'll do three contracts. So occasionally, if I lose a trade, that's $1,000. No, today's profit was $2,200, or maybe a little more, 2,300 at the most. But I was down 1,800 for the week prior to today. Yeah, TJ, I heard the same thing. I heard today's kids aren't as enthusiastic about getting a license and driving a car and doing all the things that when I was 16, man, we begged our parents. Like, even if your parents couldn't even afford you a car, you still was trying to figure out a way to get one. Like, it was having a car was just the most important thing at 16. And I heard that's changed. Okay, it looks like this inverted fair value gap may actually do something after all. We're still early in the candle though. It's only the first minute of 5, so let's see how it closes out. Yeah, I don't know how things were done and where you guys are from, but where I was from, we were actually able to take driver's ed as part of our school curriculum. It was an after school type situation, so you had to do it as an extracurricular activity, but the school system offered it. And there were so many people who wanted to take driver's ed that there was a line. Um, and it was always people who were a little bit older, but in the same grade who didn't take it the previous year who had priority. And so trying to get in at 14 and a half so you could graduate driver's ed by 15 to get your permit was not the easiest thing to do. But yeah, it's just strange that kids today don't want a car. Mm-mm. All right, let's look and see what we got here. Yep, you're right about that. It's been a long, long time. Okay, so now if we look at the larger fair value gap we have here, this is a 3-minute we're looking at. We had price hovering in the upper quarter. Now we've had a big sell-off down into a bullish fair value gap within the larger bearish fair value gap down to the lower quarter region. Let's see how price reacts here, whether we continue to get a sell-off. These relative equal lows here are ripe and primed to be taken, but let's see. Uh, yeah, it's amazing how things have changed, I tell you. Mm-mm-mm. While we're waiting, I just want to throw the dollar up one more time. I just want to highlight something. Maybe it's just a one-time deal, something I saw, and it doesn't mean anything. But I was looking at this yesterday, and as you see, the dollar was pushing down. It had big candles, had a lot of movement, was doing a lot of things. And then all of a sudden, we got to lunch, and then look at the size of the candles for the entire afternoon. Like the dollar basically did nothing, while the rest of the market was still moving around, still doing what it did. And then when we got to what 1600, we saw the indices just run completely high, and the dollar, look at it, nothing, absolutely nothing. So I wonder if that's just, I haven't paid attention to the dollar that much to know, but I wonder if we'll get something similar where the afternoon will be very lethargic, but we'll still see the same type of activity going on in indices and other places that we trade. So just something weird I saw yesterday and just thought I'd mention it. Mhm. Yep. DJ, you're in South Carolina, okay? Not too far from my home. I've been in Phoenix now for 6 years. Yep, just like actually just now, 6 years. I moved here in February of 18, but I'm originally from Charlotte. All right, HDS. That's good to hear, man. Excellent. Okay. Yep. Spent the majority of my life there, even though I bounce around a lot for work, but that's always been home. KB, Trinidad and Tobago. All right. All right. Good to have you. All right, D. Anderson. Yep. Carnival. Okay. Oh, wow. Waiting exhales 30 years ago. Mm. But yeah, it's nice out here, Vivian. I'm not going to lie. It's really nice. The city's really well done, well planned. It's clean. The weather, except for if you don't like the extreme heat, then yeah, you want to stay away during from June to September. You want to do something else. But other than that, actually, not even really June. Maybe like July to September. You want to stay away. But every other month of the year is fantastic. It's a great place to be. Crypto charted in a private jet. Yeah, it's probably too late. I would say Carnival is in a week or two, right? Hmm. Like that. Reapply it here. Oh, laughter. You went to Sedona. Okay. Yeah, I was at Sedona just October. Yeah, middle of October. I was there. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So is this one right here? This question came from Philip C. Philip. It's FVG nephew Sam. All right, crypto. Still holding for those higher prices, looking for 793. Another 85 points away from where we currently are. Just do something that I like to do normally. Hmm. 760. Yeah, I want to see this. I want to see these lows swept. Just makes more sense to me. Yep. Yeah, I hear you. I'm looking. Mark, if you're talking about uh, no problem, Philip C. Okay, yeah, Mark, I think crypto's still holding her long. She took a long way down here. In this somewhere in here. All right, so she's up 130, 140 points or so. Yep, trying to pull off a 200-point trade, which for anyone who doesn't understand the magnitude of a 200-point trade, if you trade a mini, which is what we're trading now, and do one contract, 200 points is worth $4,000. So you would more than, even though Topstep doesn't have it, but if you had an Apex account where you can pass in one day, that's what a 200 point trade to do for you. Yep. Yeah, Mark, whenever you're able to go in with more than 3 contracts, I'm not sure how many she went in with, but she said she had 2 remaining, right? And that's another thing. She said she has 2 contracts remaining. So she's already taken profit and still has 2 contracts well over um, right around $3,000 each. So that's massive, massive contracts going on in a wildly successful trade. We all can aspire for that. I mean, but she's had to build up that type of endurance to be able to hold the trade. So she's seen enough of her trades end up where she wanted, even if she had to wait 4 or 5 hours the entire session to get it. All right, we have the dollar now retesting that key level that it took over, those equal highs on the 1 hour. Now retesting that level, see if it holds or if it crashes below. doing it for me. Okay, let's see if this inverted fair value gap holds still. For a 50K account, and this is for, what's it, Mayanik Patel. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. For a 50,000 account, yeah, you're not going to be able to do what she was able to do. So yeah, I did mention that as something that you could do with one, but you're going to have to go in with one contract. And if you're trying to achieve that level of success, you're going to have to be able to hold without taking partials. That's the only difference. If you go in with one contract, you can't take partials. Um, so if you're looking for a 50K and you want to pass in one day, first you have to be on Apex when they're running that type of special. But it's possible. You just need to go in with one contract and you're going to have to hold it for 150 points. And not every day has a range that much. And not every day can you find that range within one session. So those are some of the limitations you'll run into, but it is possible. Absolutely possible. Yep. Yeah, good job, TJ. Yeah, absolutely. Don't go over too minis. And if you do have too minis, use one to pull profits kind of early. You get up $500-600, take one contract off, put that in the bank, and then see if that last contract can deliver the balance of what you were looking for. I mean, I'm not the best at pyramiding in or taking partials myself. Last week, I felt like that was one of the better trades I've taken in doing so. And I was able to partial out with two contracts. And I think I had profits of like 1,200. But then I let one run. And that one runner I had, which I opened last, and it ran to the highest point of my trade that day. And that one runner delivered 1,200, whereas the previous two contracts I closed delivered 1,200. So runners can be very lucrative, but it only comes once you have enough cushion to go in with multiple contracts. Right on, Antonio. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, she's holding for here. She's looking for 793, get all the way up to the top. Nope, back to the 5 minute. I hope we sweep the lows, but not really sure at this point. It is showing that it could be bullish. I'm looking, it's making higher lows, right? It already swept this low if that was what it was looking for. And as soon as it swept this low, we went right back to testing this inverted fair value gap there. So generally when this happens, you just kind of wait and see, right? And we're doing this thing again. And you just wait for it to break. It always does. Let's go to the lower time frame now that we have just hit macro time. Let's see if it brings us anything or gives us a clue as to what's coming next. Okay. Right at the 50% mark of that inverted fair value gap. Right. We have the also silver bullet coming up for the next hour. So if you are bullish, then silver bullet might be a good opportunity for you to look for a long, which would then potentially take you up to the all-time highs if that's the area you think that price is going to run up to today. Uh, yeah, no, Mark, the silver bullet, it's the ICT trading strategy between 10 and 11 and 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Sort of a continuation strategy. So if you were looking for a long, like maybe during 2 and 3, you would look for a trade into this fair value gap. And when it hit here, you would go long, targeting either this high or these equal highs, probably these equal highs here at 739. So you would enter at 702 and try to get out at almost 740. Not that that's a trading idea, but if you were looking for a long and the silver bullet, we were at 2 o'clock right now, that might be what you look for. TC, I link Topstep so I can still use TradingView, which is the platform I'm using. So Topstep gives you the option to still use TradingView if you want to. But they are developing, and right now they're in demo phase of their own platform, which is very similar to TradingView. So I've heard good things from some others who've already tested it because they are rolling it out to test markets and to some of, I guess, the people who signed up to be early adopters. And so they're getting some feedback now. And so far, it sounds like it's going to be very similar to TradingView with a lot of the same options. So you won't have to worry about the learning curve. But yeah, you're able to use your own platform if you like, as long as your own platform is TradingView. But there's some other platforms they use as well. So you don't have to use TradingView if you're already familiar with something different. Yes, so it has to, Silver Bullet is based on a fair value gap. So we would have to pull back into a fair value gap. Um, and if it doesn't have one yet, it's at 10 o'clock, right? Let's say if we start seeing it buy up and it creates a fair value gap. So it could create it afterwards, and then you'll see a retracement. So it would do something like this, right? We'd be here, and then all of a sudden we get up here, right? So when it makes this bullish move up, you would be then looking to see if it creates a fair value gap to trade back into, that kind of situation. But it doesn't have to create the fair value gap after 10 o'clock. Sometimes the fair value gap was created before, and 10 o'clock just does the retracement into that fair value gap. And the higher time frame you can find it on, the more secure and better that it is. A lot of times the 1 minute is where you're going to find it, because it just gives you the smallest entry. But if you find that within a higher time frame, like if that 1 minute fair value gap is also inside of a 5 minute, it's generally a better fair value gap to use, especially when you're looking at price action and you have a fair value gap here and one down here, and there's just so many to decide which one to go for. All right, let's measure this last leg and see if we get a retracement. What are we looking at? Right, remember, we're still inside of the funnel. 50% here. That's 712. Let's see if we get that far down. All right, on the 1 minute, let me just hit the 61% so we can see the OTE, just in case it makes it that far. Um, well, one of the biggest pros is it's someone else's capital. So it's not anything that you have to worry about. If you blow your account, yes, you no longer have that funded account as an asset that you can use to trade with, but you didn't lose your rent money, right? Or you didn't lose your savings that's for something else. Or you didn't lose your own capital that you were using to fund your future. You can just go back, do another evaluation, pass the account again, and then start over again. So as long as you're a good trader, it's possible to jump right back in and start trading again fairly quickly. So that's one of the biggest pros, is that it's not actually real money that's yours. Another thing is you can get multiple funded accounts, and you can link them together. So you take one small trade, so you try not to blow your account, but then you can have that one small trade copied amongst multiple accounts that you've passed. And by linking them together, it actually turns out to be a pretty big trade that you took. So let's say you had three $50,000 accounts, and you linked them together to copy trade, and you only, on your trade, you took a one contract and you made $1,000 on that one contract. Well, if you had your copy trader on, you ended up actually placing a 3 contract trade and making $3,000. So with multiple smaller evaluated accounts linked together, you're able to basically level up and have more equity than you would have had if you only had one trading account. And I guess the last thing is along those same lines, but you're able to have a decent sized account to make at least 1 to 2 minis on a trade, you're able to get that fairly quickly, as opposed to starting out with $500 and having to build your account up until you had enough cushion to take a large size trade. It would take much longer if you used your own capital. So those are the benefits there. There obviously are rules that you have to abide by, and some people don't like those. So you have to close your trade every day by 4:10 p.m. So you can't carry over until the next session, even if you're in the middle of a trade that looks like it's going to work out for you. If it doesn't reach your target by 4:10, they'll close your trade for you if you don't trade it. So there are some rules you have to live by. You can't lose more than, depending on the size of your account. I think on the 3,000, you can't lose more than 1,000 in a day, and all the way up to the 150,000, you can't lose more than 3,000 in a day. So if you take one big trade and you lose, your trading day is finished. You can't get back in. So there are some of those, but for the most part, it's a win-win. Most people like being a funded trader. Topstep, you can have three funded accounts that you link together. Apex, you can have 20. No problem. Cool, calm. No problem. Yep. Okay, so it broke out. Let me get back up to the 5 minute. So we can, yep. If I missed any other pros and cons, go ahead and help me out, please, team. Go ahead and throw in whatever some of the other pros and cons are. So Cool Comp can make an informed decision. All right, we got equal highs again, once again. So these are likely not to hold very long. It's 2 o'clock now as well, so keep that in mind. You're right. Inversion fair value gap gave one big push down for anyone who wanted to scalp, and that was all it delivered. And we have equal highs here. These are probably not going to last long either. Hmm. Now look at how this price is moving on 15-minute increments. So this is 12:30 is the high. 12:45 is the low. All right, 1:15 is the high. 1:30 is not quite the low, so slightly off a bit. This is 1:30, and then this is 2 o'clock. Right, 12:30, 12:45, 1:15, 1:30, 2 o'clock. pivot points are happening at quarters of the hour, it seems. We're done with that. Right. And for everyone who wants to hold one of these trades and be able to catch it at the very bottom and run it to the very top, um, that's the reason why you can endure this kind of retracement and this kind of indecisiveness for an hour where price isn't really moving anywhere. If you had entered your trade somewhere in here and price just kind of danced around here, giving you a few points for an hour, you likely close your trade. But the fact that you entered down here and you're already up 100 points, you can endure this kind of treatment while waiting for higher prices. And when you find the draw on liquidity, all this wants to do is to fake you out and try to pull your liquidity. So every time you move your stop to one of these points, it's just offering the algorithm an opportunity to come and take your money. So that's really the way to get up there, is to have an early enough position where you have a cushion and you can allow price to do a little dance here. Yeah, crypto, you must have heard me talking about you. Came right back. Lower time frame, we had a sweep of 2 lows, or it looks like price now wants to continue its previous movement. So we swept the low just after 1 o'clock. And before making new highs, went ahead and took the low from 126 as well. Okay, so I had this marked up as lunch high and low without even really realizing it. Oh no, I was just telling people because everyone is so amazed at how you're able to hold your trade and how how you're still looking for those all-time highs, and we've just had basically an hour and a half of retracement and then consolidation, and you're still in your long from, you know, 3 hours ago. And I was just telling them that the easiest way to hold that is to already be up 100 points on your entry. And so all of this kind of noise that's here really doesn't distract you, because on a higher time frame you still see market structure move in the direction you want. You still see those highs within reach, and you know the next draw in liquidity. And so I was just saying that if you enter in here like you're a late entry, you can't endure this kind of price action because you believe it's going to turn around on you. So that's all. And that's a sweet cake. That's a lot of icing. I'm telling you, a lot of icing. All right, lunchtime highs are in play. Up next. Yep. So crypto, this is the I think this is the question that you asked me earlier in the week. I think it was because you kept seeing entries along the way, and you're just like, why aren't you taking these trades? Why aren't you jumping in? And I don't really like this kind of price action. So while I can see that it's most likely going to continue up, I don't want to get caught in that. But I love getting reversals, and so I'm always looking for when price finishes a current move and then wants to do something different. So that's just my style. I either like to get in early, or I'd rather catch the next move when price wants to do something else. But I'm trying. I'm trying to get in there with you and find a way to get into those continuation moves, because a lot of times these moves start in London session, so I don't even have a chance to get the beginning of the move, but I still have to find a way to get in. Yep. But no, I'm not gonna lie, because of some of the traders in this room, the people I see and talk to every day, like you guys are also helping me and giving me confidence that I can find an entry and believe that it's going to take me to the end. So, and helping me refine the way that I'm approaching the market. So it's been helpful for me as well. I really do appreciate just the different style of traders that we are, and then how we're all encouraging one another. So we're on our way. We'll get there. Some of us are already there, but the rest of us, we're on our way. All right, Fuego, you take care. Next week should be a lot easier. It's not NFP or FOMC together, so so take it easy. Have a good weekend. Bingo. Here we go on the 1 minute. Yep. So crypto, if I understand you correctly, when you were explaining breaker blocks earlier, you were saying it's the last, a bullish breaker would be the last up close candle before the leg that swept liquidity. Yeah, there's liquidity sweep here and here. Now, these weren't liquidity sweeps on 15-minute or 1 hour time frames. But I'm just trying to figure out if I understand you correctly. Boom, there it is. All right. New high of the day. Up next, high of the year so far, which was last week. Yep, way to go, Mark. That was me yesterday. That was me yesterday. Hmm. Yep, you're right about that. So you like to get in and get out. That's typically me too. I like to have a very set, all right, I'm going to risk 20 points on this trade. Once it gets to 40 points, I'm out. Close my trade. I'm looking for the next setup, not looking for a continuation. But I do often wonder how to catch those 100 pointers, 120 points, those kind of trades. Okay, got it. So only session highs and lows, and then higher time frame, which is most likely an hour and above. Okay, understood. Oh, that's weird, Mark, that they changed their margins only for FOMC and then changed them back. Wow, just on the 1 minute, not a single swing low has been broken here. This leg here. Hmm. Hmm. 'Kay, I don't know if anyone entered on this fair value gap here. All right, your 1 to 2 has been delivered, 20 points. Uh, 2,200, I believe. I think 2,200. You literally sit on your hands. On a continuation day, these are the types of things that you see. Let me go to 15-minute, be a little easier. Right, pretty much from beginning of our session, it's just nonstop buying action. And as you can see, the New York low was created and it remained open throughout the session. In fact, it's the only session, section extreme, that's still open. The lunch low is still open as of now, but the lunch session is not technically one of the trading sessions, but it is one that you can look to see if price is going to sweep. And so far, I just decided not to and leave that open. So we have two lows open for the day that have not been traded back to, and that's New York and lunch. So both happen since we've been trading today. Be a nice 50-point trade if it retraces back down. You got to be kidding me. All right. I just looked to see what 20%, since we're on Friday, and I was like, what would a TGIF look like? Like, what would a 20% retracement of the weekly range? Where would we be looking at a target? And as far as where the range was before lunch, 20% was right here. At this point, just before lunch, we had a weekly range of roughly 500 points. And so 20% is 100 points off of that. It's already done it. So So if we don't get a retracement, let's not fight for it or get faked out looking for the TGIF setup. Looks like potentially, and this is potentially it's already happened. Sorry about that. Cool, calm. 15 and an all-time high. Looking at an exit of 784 in case of a long rejection block. Sweet. Yep. Oh, thanks. Cool, calm, collected. Thank you. Yeah, you're right, Ray. It's been what a day. Trending days are good because at least once you get on side, you can breathe easily after a few minutes because it generally gives you a nice little cushion. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, wait a minute. I completely missed just 5 minutes ago. Within the last 5 minutes, it traded into this area I have marked up. I didn't even catch that. Sorry, guys. Let me just rest on the 3 minute for a little bit. All right, we're closing in on 2:30 soon. We'll be halfway through our session this afternoon. We'll be right back. I just got to go and grab some water, make sure I still have voice for the next 90 minutes. You guys just bear with me for about 2 minutes while I go and grab that. All right. Oh, yes. Good response, TJ. Yeah, it really just depends on how often you trade, how well you're trading, and what your profit goal is. Yeah, a lot of times, yeah, I think TJ, I think you were either in before crypto was in or right around the same time. Yeah, I missed the early entry. I got in at like 11 o'clock. The early entry was around 10:30. So I was half hour late to the party. And in fact, there were some entries as early as like 9:45 that some people took. It'd be nice to see. But Ray, I was looking and I was thinking, like, I took as if this was the high of the week because at the time it was. Um, and this downward movement here was 20%. So we might get another TGIF, but if not, this is probably going to constitute the TGIF because this was a 20% retracement on the weekly range. Um, and it wasn't like at 2 or 3 o'clock, but it was during the lunch hour. So technically in the afternoon. So it's something I'm monitoring today, Ray, just to see if we get a TGIF. But I just wanted to scout or just measure this out just to see if that was it, and if it was, then at least I can lower the likelihood that something happens later. Because I think it was last week or the week before we were waiting on the TGIF, and it just kind of ran all the way until the closing bell, and we never really got one. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Always on the radar. So if you see price flip, don't be surprised and kind of have an idea that it's going to run for these lunchtime lows, which since this high is close to this high, it's still a 20% retracement or so. So those lunch lows could be in play. Mm, okay. I didn't think about earnings from yesterday. On the chart. So if you want to see a TGIF on the chart, so what you want to do is you want to go to your weekly, go to the weekly, and you want to grab this week's candle. You want to put a Fibonacci from the lowest point to the top point. So include the wicks and everything. So you want to see the entire weekly range. And a TGIF is the earliest exit would be 20%. So you look and see what is a 20% retracement. And then you look for 25 and 30. And those will be your three targets. To look for the weekly range to retrace between 20 and 30%. Yep, crypto, and that's why you're holding. That's why you've been doing such a good job. Is that your confidence is at an all-time high, and you keep hitting the levels that you're looking for. So that's proof that your strategy works, and not only your strategy works, but it works for you. So keep at it. All right, there's a 35-point setup there. Right at the moment, we have the dollar selling. I mean, it's still having the small range during this afternoon, which is, I guess, not uncommon since I pointed out yesterday it did the same thing. It was large range candles all the way until lunch. And then from lunch until this morning's news event, it was very small candles. And now that it's made a run and it's eclipsed what 45-day high. Yep. Yeah, it's the high of the last 45 days. And now it's showing a small retracement, but just a small range this afternoon so far. Yep. Would show that screen, but it looks like we're waiting for this candle to break out. So at any moment now, we're expecting price to start pushing to the upside with speed. Mm, yep, you're right. We are heavily bullish. So that either says something really good for 3 o'clock today, where it's just going to be running, or it's going to be a nice week next week. Probably a retracement back down to 17,700 or something like that, and then maybe we can see higher prices next week. Continue to push. All right, looks like we're going to go. All the other indices are running. And again, the dollar is still pushing for the lowest prices of this afternoon. Hmm. A tiny little sliver of a fair value gap here. All right, so that was the 3-minute version. This is a 5-minute version. Hopefully somebody who's a swing trader or something like that. Hopefully not a day trader. But maybe what if you decided you wanted to sell here and you saw these equal lows or these equal lows and you say, okay, let me get a quick scalp. And so you jump in and then that's the seller for the buyer. But you're right. Yeah, I don't know who's enthusiastic about a sell right now, knowing that we're already within an hour and a half of closing the day and we have all-time highs within sight. All right. Call it do not get wrecked right now. Do not go short. Okay. Hmm. All right, there it is. I was looking at all the time frames. I was like, where the hell is the silver bullet? And it's right here. Those lunchtime highs. So I ran the lunchtime highs coming out of 742. So that's where it is. All right, let's get back up to the 5-minute so we can see more of the chart. No, no, crypto's looking for this level. She wants this. I think she said 791 or something up here. She's looking for a little bit more, another 25 points or so. I'm with you, TJ. There you go. Yep, BGFG, absolutely stick to it. Reaching that today section, what's the likelihood? That's an excellent question. I would say it's pretty good because on a higher time frame, that's where we're moving towards, and there are no other targets in sight. And generally, you need a target. Once it hits a pool of liquidity, that's when price will consolidate or reverse or do something similar. So I would say it's pretty high. I mean, we still have another hour and 15 minutes, and you're talking about 25 points. All right. Did anyone take this entry? Anyone take this trade idea? Three, two. Wow. Same fair value gap every single time frame. All the lower time frames has the same fair value gap on this entry within 3 points of each other. All right, algorithm moneymaker. See how this works out for you. Good luck. It's still dancing around over here. Let's see. I'll 250. Okay, so it's 250 now. Let's hmm. Okay, so it gave 15 points and started pulling back. All right, so this should be the breakout. This next couple candles. All right, consolidation. We'd expect expansion to come out of here. Okay, let's wait on the next candle. Looks like this candle is exhausted. Okay, so open up and push down. Hmm. All right, let's see how this candle closes. See what the next one does. We get a push back into the range. All right, so far price has pushed back to the origin. So anyone who was upside down and afraid gave you an opportunity to exit without a loss. It's gone. Traded down to another fair value gap. Okay. Heavy drawdown on the original idea. Oh, wow. Right at the intersection is the delivery of this new idea. Okay, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes and power hour will be here. Go back to the comments. Charlotte said some bears in the forest. Antonio, I'm green for the day. No positions this half of the day though. Nothing this afternoon. Khaled Hammond. If that question was directed to me, you said, "Well, what do I do for a living?" This is what I do. Yep, yeah, Antonio, I'm green, and I'm gonna complete the week green as well. So it was a good comeback after Tuesday, Wednesday. Kind of struck me down a bit. I stayed out of the market yesterday, and I'm back green today. I mean, I had a green day yesterday, but it was in demo. I don't know. I made 3 or 4 different trades and ran the demo account up $7,000, $8,000. Like it was crazy, but it doesn't mean anything if it's not in my live account. Yep, I had a pretty big trade this morning. I don't know if you caught it. So that was a nice trade for me. And then for the week, I'm up like $400, something like that. All right, Khaled. Yeah, I'll try to keep it up. Try to be a good example for all the new traders that are still learning this discipline. It's incredibly difficult, so I'm not gonna sugarcoat it up front. It's incredibly difficult, but it's doable. It's manageable, and if you put in the work, it will reward you. All right, so this is sort of the worst place to be amongst these quadrants. This is clearly the best place to be, but on both sides, right? It gives you reason for optimism as you look for price to be green or to be in a profitable position. No, it's not really a new strategy. So originally we were here, right? So I put this trend line here just to see when it would break and trade above these trend lines, right? And it's just merely to see when price stops doing what it's currently doing. But then as I was watching this, then I saw these two for whatever reason. When I see these kind of things, it's like my eyes, I can't take them off. And so I have to put this trend line here just to prove that this is not a trend. And so that's how it happened. And so what happened is when you do that, you start noticing that price will trade in between and sit in that funnel. And so I just waited for it to break out, but it broke to the lower side. So I left it there, hoping it would then come back. But that's it. It's not a strategy or anything. It's just another way to watch price and to decide how you feel about it. Yeah, exactly. Just like a wedge. You just want to see when it breaks out of the wedge. And it's, yeah, it's essentially what happened here. Yep. I'll go ahead and remove them because it's not really serving the purpose it did before. Let's go ahead and take a look at our, as far as our stop loss here, where we are trading in the lower half, lower quarter. Where are we? And this is for anyone who's in a trade, just to help you manage it a little bit. Um, Drawdown is part of being in a trade. It's just part of the way it works. So you just decide how you like it, or if it's too much to bear and where you want to cut and run. Hmm. Okay, back above break even now. Yep. It's these equal lows. That's the part that make you nervous. It's whether that liquidity is what price wants prior to going for those highs. All right, we're now at 5 minutes after 3 o'clock, so power hour is here. Sorry, I didn't announce that before. Here we go. Equal highs ahead. Another set of equal highs. Mark these out so we can manage progress as we're going. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Antonio, I'm good. I'm good. Absolutely. J, J Peak, J Peak. Yes, yes, everything's live. So yeah, you can watch me live every day. Return back to origin after that small sweep of a high. I mean, it was good to see it break out of this trend line that I had marked earlier. It's good to see that breakout, but honestly thought it'd be a little stronger. Okay, let's check the next candle. Oh, okay. No, no worries. Yeah, I thought I had responded to you earlier. I know you asked me if I was green for the week, and yes, I did finally rebound. I was negative 1800 before today, but I am green for the week now after today's trade. 786. Bingo. There it is. Finally. Okay, let's drop this out. Let's see who was in here before. There it is. Algorithmic moneymaker. Did you stay in during all of this drawdown? Are you still in your long? This is for algorithmic moneymaker. I'm gonna get that word one day. All right, Antonio's still in with one runner. Okay, awesome. Okay. Oh, is it? Okay, I haven't been paying attention to ES too much today. Let's look. Yep, ES is at 4995, 4996. And the high that it experienced within the last handful of minutes was 4997 and 3/4. So, yep, almost at 5,000. Crazy. Oh man, to the tick. Yeah, you're right. Almost 1 hour on this trade. Let's see. So we need to get to 775. 775 for 1 hour. But look what price just did. It just told you we're coming back. Hey, so we're in that 315 to 345 macro. Get rid of this Fibonacci now. We'll have you take it from the lowest wick. Let's see. We can take it from there. Still at 61. If we go from this wick, yep, 50% is right at basically the entry of this trade idea. Mm-hmm. Same with me. I didn't trade Monday. I had a red Tuesday, red Wednesday. I didn't trade yesterday. And then today I made up Tuesday, Wednesday, and with some extra. I didn't necessarily keep mine small because I made a mistake on Tuesday. I took the same entry twice. So I lost and then I got back in and lost a second time. So it was the same entry and I generally don't do that. So I could have minimized my losses a little better, but I didn't. And if you like this setup and you still believe in this high, absolutely you can take it. If you believe in this high up here, it's right around origin. This is where the beginning of the trade setup started. And it started right here. So it went up a little bit and then it did a deeper tracement and then it started buying up again. So it depends on if you like this setup still. It has been consolidating, but if you like it, yep, you're in a good position if you want to take this setup. And anywhere in the red is just giving you a lower risk for the same TP. All right, don't want to play around with my balance that I've earned so far. So I did take this entry just recently on my demo account. This very last retracement, I took an entry. 756 flat. Okay, so I got a little bit of cushion. I got an extra 1.5. $730. Hmm. All right, we're about 45 minutes before we finish off our session today. If you can, go ahead and hit the like button, please. Let's see if we can get a few more traders in the room, get over 100 for this final 45 minutes of the session today. Geez, 2%. Yeah, that's really good. 1.84%. That's excellent. Hmm. At the same time, when I press close, here another entrance that I was not set up. Like if I was selling, here's buying. HDS, are you talking about when you set up a limit order? Yep, crypto. I think you are ready for some challenges. Let's see. Thank you, Cool Calm Collect. I appreciate you. Yep. Now I realize there are a lot of people probably watching from an account they're not actually logged into or something like that, so they don't have the ability to like the video or to subscribe for that matter. Okay, so that shouldn't happen, HDS. That should not happen. Um, what you'll want to make sure is that you have, holy smokes, what just happened? Wow, it just crashed through. Okay, that happens. That definitely happens. All right, so we got a sweep of these equal lows, which were bothering me that they were still sitting there. So I'll remove that, and now let's see what happens next. Just in case you get a continuation down, go ahead and take your weekly candle. Right, weekly candle. We want to go from the lower all the way to the extreme here. Right, so this is the entire weekly candle. Just in case it wants to continue to retrace, 20% is at 17,663. It's also the lunchtime low, which has not been traded to today. Just wanted to point that out and let everyone know that that's the 20% retracement. 25% is down to 638. And of course, 30% is back to the midnight open at 606. So for anyone who's never seen a TGIF or not familiar with it, that's what we mean by it. TGIF, I guess, thank goodness it's Friday. But then you look for the extreme point. You look for it to pull off 20% and create the wick. And so if price wants to continue downwards, that's what we're looking for. But it could continue upwards and go to the target that we were just speaking about, which is the all-time high at 793.5. So I'm gonna go back down to the lower time frame. But just in case anyone is looking for TGIF, that's how you do it. You pull up the weekly time frame, you measure the entire weekly range, and you look for 20% retracement. Okay. Let's get this Fibonacci off here. Okay, now from this lower entry that comes with less risk, stop loss is only 18.5 points. That TP on a 1 to 2 only gets you back to these equal highs. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, Ray. Those deep retracements between 3 and 4 o'clock, I noticed they always shake people out who are a little too tight on the entry. And then it always does what it was going to do to begin with. Oh, the 5-minute busy. Okay. Most likely ran away at that point. Mhm. Yep. Okay. All right. So there you go. Look for that push up. Mm-hmm. For this. Shark trends. Yes, there was a good one this morning. There was a good one this morning, at least on my end. But there's some others who've been in some good trades this afternoon. Majority of them took place down here, so you would have needed to have gotten in prior to 2 o'clock. Outside of that, it was just a retracement down, similar to the entry that was done at 220. But no, this afternoon I chose not to re-enter the market, and I did take one demo trade, and it didn't work out for me just recently. So it's actually a good idea that I stayed away. Yep. Yeah. Ray's having a good day. Crypto Queen's having a good day. TJ's having a good day. So there's quite a few. Mm-hmm. See, where is 50% of this candle? See if it stops somewhere in there. It looks like it still wants to push. Maybe check on the other indices and see where they're landing for now. Okay, so for now, everything is retracing a little bit. S&P, Nasdaq, Dow, and dollar. Hey, 335, another 35 minutes, and the market closes for all funded traders, all prop firm traders, 35 more minutes. And for us on the session, we have another 25 minutes unless we run over on like Q&A or something. Okay, another sweep of equal lows. Yep, a little something for everyone. You're right. Yeah, happy hour for anyone getting there started early. It's still a little early here. It's only 1:30 in the afternoon, so we have a little while before happy hour starts. Esther's in London. Okay, 8:38 right now. Wow. Okay. But no shark trades. That's great to hear that you had a few good trades as well. I know you probably weren't able to join the chat, but it's good to hear that you are having some good trades and making progress on your evaluations. Right. Yep. We've had a price stall on us for the last hour or so, but it doesn't mean that's how it has to finish. We still have 20 minutes left. And anyone who's been on the stream long enough, you know, the last 10 minutes can be electric. All right, JPEG. You have a great weekend as well. Okay, let's see if we can get this candle to continue pushing upwards. At least get these equal highs out of the way. And then these equal highs out of the way. That's true. We rolled today and it rewarded us. Okay. Another 30 seconds on this candle. Let's hoping we can get somewhere close to at least halfway of the big bullish candle to the left. Oh, I'm sorry, the bearish candle to the left. We can get at least into half of that. That would be a good progress and end somewhere close to the height of the candle. Give a little momentum to the next candle. There we go. Okay, then rebalance has happened. Immediate rebalance. Let's see if now price continues to push higher. Not what I had in mind there. I thought it was going to push a little harder, a little quicker. But let's give it some more time. Hey, let's see. Call it no, I'm in US. I'm in Arizona. Oh, A plus for the last 20 minutes. Honestly, I'm assuming the trade has already happened, so you should already be in from here. And I'm looking for at least a sweep of these highs and delivering a 1 to 2 on this setup from the fair value gap here that you see in this 3 minutes. So I can move that out of the way there. But yes, I'm looking for equal highs here to be ran because you know it likes equal highs. And then we have a second set here, and it's right at the lip of delivering 1 to 2. So I'm expecting it to push through and also eclipse this high here. Um, Getting up to 793, I wouldn't be surprised if it does that, and especially if it does that in the last 5 minutes when no one's paying attention. But I am expecting for it to complete this setup here. If that's going to happen, it needs to get on its horse and start moving quickly. If I don't see anything by like 350, then I'm not 100% sure if it's going to still get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. It's almost like we got a mini little seek and destroy in here. It's just waiting to break out of that. Call it Hammond. I think you might be talking about Cami Capital. Cami Capital is from New Zealand, so not Australia, but close. The 5 minute, I believe so. I believe so. Let's see. This here, yes. Been supporting price since right at 2 o'clock. However, it hasn't made a major high yet. It's just kind of been trading in the zone since then. And as we head into the final 12 minutes or so, go ahead and put in any final questions or comments you have. I know there was one person earlier who wanted to take a peek at gold. So if you're still in the room, let me know. And any other questions you might have. Let's go ahead and get those answered. We can wait until after 4 o'clock. That's fine. It's Friday. I'm not going to stream tomorrow, so I'm okay staying a few extra minutes. So if you need anything, just let me know. Yeah, so seek and destroy. Seek and destroy is candlestick pattern where it just goes and it sweeps highs and lows, right? So if you see where we started right there, then we went in, put in a low, then we swept the high to make a new high. We didn't quite sweep the low, but we did get anyone who entered up here thinking it was going long, made sure it swept them out. And here didn't put in a new high, but anyone who thought it was going lower and entered a short, it stopped them out. But then it came and swept those two lows. And so essentially you just have a price pattern where it just keeps going from low and high extreme. I mean, but I think if I'm not mistaken, seek and destroyers, you generally do take the highs. So you'd have something like this where you keep making higher highs, but you're also making lower lows. So it just really doesn't allow you to get into the market and feel comfortable putting a stop and just having it run away, because it always comes back on your stop. So you just end up trading a range, and you would enter a short here, anywhere down in the lower quarter, you would exit. If you entered a long, you would exit in the upper quarter, just knowing that it's most likely going to hit and turn around, not hit and continue. Okay, 350 a minute ago, and we finally have some action here that we can talk about. But that's how price is. Sometimes it waits for those moments, and when those moments come is when it's active. And before that, it makes you wait and ensures that you're patient. If you're not patient, then you can't win. Okay, let's see what the next 10 minutes brings, whether we sweep these two highs or not. Trade idea had a stop loss of 18 and a half. Entry at 737, already up at 760 and better. So you're talking it's already delivered 25 points. Anyone in a trade, decide how long you want to stay. Also decide where your threshold is to exit. Okay, first equal high, done. All right, crypto, wake up. Your trade's still on. Yeah, I'm with you with that. Antonio, I agree with you. Just if you don't know much about trading and you're looking to get into it, just grab one of ICT's free courses and just follow it and put in the work. Uh, hmm. Oh, not quite there yet. Uh-huh. Oh, thanks, Fauci. Thank you. Yeah, I know he's dropping those the chartered entry models. I believe he's on like 7 now. I believe he said once he got to I guess 1 million subscribers or something, he'd put those out there. There you go, Luke. Man, next week I'm hoping you get there. Next week should be the week. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss something? Or did it tap out at 1 to 2? The high of this candle says 774 and a quarter. It's green, 774 and a quarter. All right, so there's the 1 to 2 on this trade. So exact delivery and then meltdown so far. Uh, but if we look at this trend, the meltdown could just be false. Just get everyone to get out of the trade, and next thing you know, we end up 100 points up in a couple minutes. All right, so these equal highs got tripped up by 1 or 2 ticks. Just make that a little larger so we all can see. Yep, right there. So just through these equal highs, so I'll delete those. Okay, that was 37 points exactly. All right, Ash, take care. See you next week. Right, sounds good, man. Thanks for the encouraging words, Ash. Appreciate it. Hmm. Yep, you got an immediate rebalance on the 1 hour. That might be explosive. Loot, that's funny. No, you should be crypto. You should be able to trade them together. Hmm. Didn't pick up your okay. Oh, that's true. Yeah, Topstep. So you do once you get funded in Topstep, you are I think you go until you get to 20,000 in payouts. Once you get to 20,000 in payouts, then they offer you to go into a real live account like with real money. And in that case, they can raise right. They condense your three accounts into one. But then you also, I don't think you have the same level of restrictions that you have with the normal evaluation account and with the express funded account. Wow, full retrace all the way back down to the origin of the trade. Close out the day. Let's see if it's looking for that TGIF where it's going to trade to, what was the time we said? Lunchtime? Lunch low, 665. I'd be surprised if that happens. But we got a sweep of these equal lows right here. Let's go back to the 5 minute. Hmm. Oh, did you see the short coming mark? Man, that TGIF is within striking distance. After you earn 20K, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they do that. Good job, Khaled. Good job. Yeah, I'm not really sure if they make you pay as a professional because the professional fee is much higher than the normal $5 that you pay when you're just an amateur. But I can't imagine them making you pay the professional fee because you're still not licensed or you're not managing other people's money. It's still your own capital. God, a midget standing at a urinal. Oh my God. All right. How many points does that drop? Ooh, 75-ish almost. 73 down to 700 flat. Yep, 75 points. All right, where's my guy who wanted to talk about gold? Let's see if I can find him in the chat. Oh, chat's been so active, it didn't scroll that far up. So yeah, if you're still here and you want to look at gold, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to enjoy our weekend really soon. We're going to get that started. Still holding. Oh God. All right, crypto, for the sake of your trading and what you're looking for, I'll hang on until 10 after. I know you have private funds, so you don't have to close your trade at 10 after, but I'll hang on until all the prop firms close out trades. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Oops. Can't do that. 17,700. Remember, that was the previous all-time high from 2021. Was it 2020? Yeah. It was either the first day of 2022 or the last couple of days of 2021. So 2 years ago, that was that high. So just a retest of that level. Let's see if now we get a price to build out of it. Mm-hmm. Okay, 4:30 is your closing time. Okay, got it. All right, Fauci, take care. Or Antonio, see you. Antonio crushing it. Good job. Right now, you're still up 100 points on 2 contracts, and it just retraced, I don't know, 75 points, and you're still up 100. That's how you can let your runner run and be confident and comfortable. Well, right now it's in a 5-minute fair value gap, but let's see what the 1 minute looks like. Mm, I don't know. Yeah, I can't give the 1 minute a lot of attention right now. We're at the very, very end, but I'm not sure it's going to go any lower. Oh, yes. Looking forward to the whole week next week. Absolutely. Take care. Okay, I'm surprised. We still have about 60 people left, and we're 10 minutes on the other side of the hour. we'll let this 5-minute candle close, and then we'll go ahead and get that weekend going. All right, TC, take care. Exactly. Make sure you get your homework done this weekend. I know I have a lot of studying to do. Let's go ahead and preview next week, see what we got. What? A red folder on Sunday at 7 p.m.? Don't get that every week. All right, so we have high impact news 10 o'clock on Monday, so that's cool. Then no other high impact news until Thursday, but only one, and nothing on Friday. All right, next week should be interesting. Yeah, I definitely need to put some work into the Discord this weekend. Last weekend I got caught up with some other things, but this weekend I will for sure put some energy there. Make sure it's all nice and neat and cleaned up for everyone, and provide some value when you go in there. So I'll be in there this weekend. Alrighty, okay, so that closed out all of the prop firm trading. Time has expired. I don't see any additional questions, so everyone, once again, I can't thank you enough for your participation and your support of the channel and of me as a trader and as a host of this channel. So thank you very much. Like the video on your way out. If you have not subscribed and you're enjoying the content, make sure you do that. And Monday morning, 9:15, we're going to do it all over again. So I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for a great week, and we'll do it again next week.